And tonight's speaker comes to us from the Mustard Seed Group, which is out of Nairobi, which is in Kenya. And I'm very excited to hear what Miss Karimi has to say.
Hello everyone, I'm Karimi, a grateful recovering alcoholic. Thank you for having me. I hope you can understand my accent. I'm happy to be sober and alive today. A little bit about my background. Of course, my sobriety date is 28th of January 2022. That's slightly over 3 years. I was born in a family of in between 3 boys. We are 4 siblings. My mother was a medic. My dad worked for the then government in Kenya. They've both since passed on. And as the only girl in between boys, I was very overprotected from a very early age. I was never sure of myself. And what I remember is my father was very particular about education. He made sure we went to the best schools. And it was all about just reading in the evenings, going through, just studying and studying. We couldn't even talk to our neighbors' kids, weren't allowed to play with other children and all that. So after we call it in Kenya, advanced level. After my A-levels, my dad sent me to Germany, which was a wrong choice. So that's when I had my first drink in Germany. I was studying. I remember I was around 18 years old. Oh, before then, a bit back, my grandmother also was an alcoholic. But she lived to be about over 90, almost 100 years. And my mother and my parents also were alcoholics, but very functional. So I thought probably when I grow up and drink like them, I would function like them, but I was wrong. Anyway, so I went to Germany, stayed for over 20 years. But I used to go home every year for Christmas. My dad was very strict. We all had to spend Christmas together. So after, went back home to Kenya, met my husband, we got married. He was a social drinker. He only drank when we had a function or just a one-off in the evenings. But then from also that stage, I just picked, sometimes I would just drink more than he did, almost like double he did, but it didn't really bother me that time. Then we got one child. She's now about 26. She's actually the one I'm built in. Many years later, my husband started getting sick. At that point, just to numb the feelings, because we traveled to different countries and the doctor said there was no hope. He had Parkinson's. I took care of him. Although he had his caregivers, but I took care of him. So to numb that, I would take like a glass or two of wine. And at the same time, my mom also got sick. So, and I'm the only girl. We were very close, and then she would refuse the nurses taking care of her, and it would be my work. So I was overwhelmed. So my mom passed on. 6 months later, my husband passed on. That was so tough. Then just immediately after his burial, my daughter was admitted in a university in New York. So she had to leave home. I was left alone. So she went to New York. Then that year I started drinking heavily. I was so lonely. I was just empty. I drank to the extent of, because I have a bar in the house, which was because of my husband used to drink a lot. I had a bar in the house. Sometimes I would carry the drinks to my room. I wake up in the morning, the drink is right next to me. Then now, I couldn't even take her to New York. She was taken by a relative. Then now, just the family, now my siblings noted it was getting out of hand. Until I still told them, I think I can manage. And before rehab now, just before my mom's death, I'd been through like 2 traumatic experiences. I remember we were in a shopping mall with my daughter and her friend and her mom's friend. Terrorists came in. We were just having coffee. They shot my best friend. And they shot my daughter's best friend right in her tummy, and she hugged my daughter and said, "You're the best friend I've ever had," and then she just died. I saw all that. And I couldn't go for counseling because I was busy taking care of my daughter. She was so traumatized to lose her best friend. And we were just in a coffee mall having fun and all that. It just random shooting. Fortunately, I went to the washroom. That's what saved me. Just instincts. I went to the washroom. The shooting started. It was all over the news. And I didn't go for counseling. Then after that, 6 months later, my mom died in my arms, and my husband. So, and then after my daughter went to New York, somehow they managed to take me to rehab. So I went to rehab it was a period of 3 months. That was the standard then. Got out of rehab, and I didn't even do meetings. I went for around 2 or 3 meetings in the span of the 2 years I was sober. Then I thought, these meetings are so boring, the same readings, the same faces. I didn't, and before I knew it, I picked a drink again. That was 2.5 years later. So I went to the same rehab. I remember my counselor asking me, so when you're out, what will you do differently this time? And I told him, okay, for starters, I think I'll prolong my time, I stay in the rehab. So I just signed up for another 6 weeks. I wanted to. And because I was not aware I was being taken to rehab, my drinks were still in the house as I had left them. I remember I got home, because I live alone. My workers, they don't stay there. So I went to the house, and my counselor kept asking me, Karimi, do you have drinks in the house? I said, no, I don't remember, maybe not. But I knew, the bottom of my heart, I knew, as an alcoholic, they were all over Eden. So I was discharged, I went home. Even before I could sit down, I just went straight to the bar because I knew I had drinks. And then I played the tape back. I went to the bar, I just said, I don't want to go back there. I took the drinks and poured everything in the washroom. Then I went to my wardrobe. Of course, there were all those places, only you know. No one can ever find them. I went, there was so many half bottles of wine and all that. I went again to the washroom and poured. Then I called my daughter. I told her, guess what? There were drinks in the house that I poured. She was like, oh, mommy, I'm so proud of you. Then I called my counselor. He said, no, you cannot pour. You're an alcoholic. I'm sure you drank. So anyway, there's no way I could have called him if I had still drunk them. So fast forward, what was I going to do different? I started going for meetings. I got a sponsor immediately. I started doing out of service. Then I also managed to start a women's meeting around my area for the low settlement areas. People who don't have access to meetings, I would go reach out, just start a small group of like widows who are going through, hardships, those who are taken advantage of because they have no one to protect them. Mainly service. I can see for me service and meetings are key. Because the first time I had no connection with the program at all. In fact, they would ask me, are you in recovery? I'm like, what recovery? I'm recovered. I never did anything at all to do with AA. So, but now this time round, I was elected recently the vice chair of Intergroup Nairobi, Kenya, just because of the service that I've managed just because of the level of service. The thing that keeps me coming back is I remember when my daughter went to uni in New York. She just told me, Mommy, there's no shame in seeking help. And just told me, if you don't seek help, don't ever call me. And she blocked her phone. She's new as I'm in Kenya. I was so traumatized. She said, it's a disease like any other. Just seek help. There's no shame. And she blocked for the phone. I continued trying to control. I couldn't. So when I remember my rock bottom, that's what keeps me coming back. Of course, it's not been that easy because back home, especially not in the cities, in other small towns, there's a lot of stigma for women who are drinking. And I'm sure here it's more open. People look at you like, you're a mother, you're drinking. So they'll drink I was a closet drinker. Most women will drink in hiding. Because even for me as an alcoholic, if I go to a bar and find a woman drinking, I'm like, oh, is she serious? And I'm an alcoholic also. So to break that as a woman, it's not been easy. Even my own siblings, when I went to rehab, they didn't tell anyone I went to rehab. So people were wondering, where is Karimi? They said, oh, she's gone to US to visit her daughter. Then I came back, of course, looking all different. They're like, oh, your holiday was nice, yes. No one knew I was in rehab until today. They just thought I got sober on my own. And I remember the things, okay, like I was saying, what keeps me coming back, it's my health had gone completely down. I would meet, before I completely accepted that I'm powerless of alcohol, I remember there's my sibling. I told him, oh, let's go have coffee. Then I lost so much weight. Then he asked me, gosh, you look terrible. I told him, I'm on a diet. Fat is bad. I was so skinny. And the only thing, at some point I switched off my fridge because it was a waste of power. The only thing in the fridge was just alcohol and yogurt. And why I had yogurt is, I would imagine the yogurt will line my liver. I was so convinced, it's just a tablespoon of yogurt to line the liver. I did that for somewhere in the book it says that. But of course I didn't have all the books then. So anyway, I don't know where I done the research, but I knew the liver, a tablespoon will save my liver. So when I was being checked in rehab, and then they did a scan, the doctor told me, your liver is stage, I think 2. I almost sued the rehab. I almost sued the yogurt company. Because how come they didn't protect my liver? First, I'm strictly on a diet, wine, whatever. and then my liver is on stage 2. I was so upset. Then I changed the brand of yogurt. And then I increased now from 1 tablespoon to 2.5 because I was so scared of getting sober. So at least the liver is coated, so it's safe. I mean, it was just crazy. So then my doctor just said, "Mommy, why don't you just stop drinking? I'm sure it's affecting your health." My eyes were turning yellow. I couldn't see it. I got eye drops. There's no one was going to. I was like, how was I going to face real life without the alcohol? I was just obsessed. In the morning, the first thing, if I'm not drinking, I'm definitely thinking of how I will get a drink, whether it's sending an Uber, whichever means. So when I got out of rehab, I checked all the empties. It was because in our place we have people pick garbage once a week. It was so noisy. You'd have thought I have a kiosk. Until one lady asked, "Have you opened a takeaway?" I said, "No, I had so many guests over the weekend." And it was one person, so many bags of empty bottles. Then I realized the bottles are too noisy. Then I discovered their Tetra Pak wines. I went on my knees and actually said, "God, I'm sure you want me to keep drinking." Because I would drink the Tetra Pak wines and throw in the fireplace. So evidence gone. That kept me drinking for another. I was really happy on my knees and thanking God for the Tetra Pak. Because the bottles are too noisy, then I can go to the Tetra Pak thing. So anyway, I continued drinking. Like I said, when I got into rehab, now a second time, overstayed. I did my more than 3 months, 4 months, got out, continued doing my meetings. And then, like, when I'm home, I think for me, meetings is just sort of it's my foundation, my meetings and the steps. So I do a physical meeting every day in Kenya. Like my first 2 years, I did a physical every single day. After my second year, I do every weekend morning physical, in the evening online. So my friends, they ask me, "Why do you do a meeting every day?" The answer is simple, because I drank every day. So the time I drank, of course, is much longer because the effects are longer. A meeting takes an hour. The drinking takes an hour and the effects takes the whole day. That's how I look at it. Now, as I speak here, just as I was preparing for my flight to the US from Kenya, I lost a very close cousin to the disease, and she was actually found dead in the house. I was about to change my flight, but then the plan because I'm planning my daughter's wedding in August, so I couldn't change abruptly. We had just talked 2 days before, and she told me she thinks she needs help. I told her, "Okay, I'm going to the US for 2 weeks. Please wait. We'll go for meetings together, open meetings, and then probably look for a nice rehab or something." So just the day at the airport, I get a message from one of my cousins. She was found dead the previous day. Yeah, it's just the reality of the disease that I'm just lucky to be alive, and it's all because of everyone in the program, and I can't do this on my own. Now, my relationship with my daughter, of course, is so much better. And when she was in New York, these are some of the what I call my rock bottoms. I got a call from her college. She was in Austria, and then the nurse told me she's not well. And then because we weren't even talking, this broke my heart. She had tried to take her life because she told the nurse, she's tired of my drinking. The dad passed on. I'm the only surviving parent. And she kept telling Mommy, this drinking will make me an orphan. There's a way. Please join AA, go for meetings, keep sober. And she was just tired of my on and off. She just took an overdose of pills. That was really my turning point. That's why, for me, AA is my life, it's my everything. I'm going on and on. Probably I'll wait to hear from the other side of the platform. That's okay with me. Questions and all. Yeah. Thank you.
How were you able to remain sober? You said your daughter, she blocked you, right?
Yeah.
All right, because I'm going through that right now as well. Like, how were you able to remain strong and to not drink during that time?
Okay, that's what kept me. Because she had blocked me out of her life. That was one of the reasons I had to work on myself for the fear of losing her, and had to keep coming to the meetings, get a sponsor, put my recovery first. Everything else came second because it was a matter of life and death for me. I was going to lose my daughter for good, did the steps, got a sponsor, and just put everything ahead. And nothing came before my recovery, no matter what. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
At what point did you realize you needed to be selfish with you? You know, like put your recovery first and put everything else aside and just focus completely on you and your sobriety. At what point? Was there a certain milestone you hit, or was there a certain incident that happened in your life that made you decide, I've got to stop with all this and just do me?
For me, basically, it was just my rock bottom. And apart from my daughters, there's when my husband died, of course, you go to court for the succession.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my siblings wrote a letter to the High Court and said, my sister is an alcoholic, she cannot manage the vast estate. She's going to drink it all. So I was going to be actually a beggar. I was going to be under the mercy of the High Court in Kenya, you know. So that alone sobered me up very quickly. That's, you know, my rock bottom keep me here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that the same, my refrigerator is full of yogurt too. So I was, because I'm fully convinced, I love that because I'm fully convinced, so I just wanted to know what brand of yogurt you use.
Brookside, but it didn't work.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I want to ask, at what point, when you had to realize, like, what made you start realizing to look inward and not outside of you, to be able to start saying that I needed to stay sober? That what was it that made you actually start looking inside yourself and not be scared of that? But to know there was you.
Okay, because I was also blaming everyone but myself. How do I put it? Because I also had to see what was my role in that. That was also key. Because everyone else had a problem but me. Yeah, so I also, what was my role in every situation? That now always, even today I still ask myself, in any situation, not only recovery, in other parts of my life, what's my role in this, in the argument, in whatever. Sorry. sorry, is that okay?
Yeah.
I was listening to you about the loss, all the loss that you had in your family. How does that affect you?
Of course, a lot of emptiness, knowing the people are so dear and I cannot replace them.
Did it also give you strength and stuff like that? Like, are you more down or up?
In a way, I've met people who've been through, like for example, there's a friend of mine who lost their husband in a flight and they didn't find the body parts, they just buried his clothes. So when I compare myself with him, I'm like, okay, at least I saw his body, I buried his body. You know, there's always someone who's gone through a worse situation, you know. And I'm also, wherever he is, I'm sure he's happy, I'm sober, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a quick question. So here in the States, we can go online to find, you know, like the closest location for meetings. What happened in Kenya? Is it the same type of, you can go online, or is it, you know, a booklet? I mean, how do you do that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, thanks. Because I live in Nairobi, in the city, we have a lot of physical, there's always a physical around the vicinity. And then, like, at night I'll do probably international online or local meet. There's always a meeting somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, they've come up a lot.
I just didn't know due to location, like if you have a lot of physical meetings where you are.
Yeah. We have a lot of physical and even online local and online international.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Elizabeth. Was it a lot of men at the meetings more than women? Meetings in a row?
Yeah, there are more men, fewer women.
Was it hard for you to share because you're a woman?
Initially, yes, but like if they're sharing a treatment center, but outside there are more men in the normal meetings. There are less women.
The reason I ask is, aren't they really mean to the women there?
No, not in the room somehow. No. Yeah. Yes?
I would like to hear more about the impact of the service work in your recovery. I recently have become a GSR and things like that, and it's changed a lot of my perspective on the effort it takes to keep the doors of AA open for everybody. So I would like to hear more about how the service work has impacted your recovery.
Okay, for me, naturally, I'm a very, before the rooms, I thought I was an introvert. So when I got into the rooms, I've ended up opening up much more. Even my sponsor took a whole, I don't know how long to hear me, to hear some depth about me. When I go out there, maybe I'm trying to talk to a newcomer about the program, I need to get out of myself in order to help them.
Yeah, just the working with others part of the program and how that played a role in your recovery.
Yeah, it helped me get out of myself in the first place and not keep what I know about the program to myself. Because no matter how little someone has had, it will impact one or two, out of maybe 50 people, it will impact one or two people. And that's a difference in the long run, even one soul.
Hi, I'm Bill Dipping. So, I want to know because I didn't hear a lot of your story, but I'm assuming because we're both human that we go through a lot of emotions. Me personally, I keep a lot of, I'm going to be honest, I keep a lot of anger and resentment inside of me. And I'm wondering, like, what is the best way in your life have you, like, on a daily basis, manage these feelings without using? Because I struggle with that every day. Not every other day, every day.
Every day. Okay. Thanks for that. Initially, I had, to some extent, I was a bit like that, but what has helped me is writing down whatever I'm feeling. And then somehow you realize by the end of the day, if you go through them, they are much less. And it's not such a big deal like what they were. If I'm feeling some sort of way in the morning, I'm going to write down how I'm feeling. And just review the same list by end of the day and see the difference. That helps me to some extent.
How did you reestablish your relationship with your daughter after she lost you and stuff like that?
Oh, my daughter, once she realized that for some time I really kept my word, I'm going to meetings, I'm sober, it just lived in amends. In fact, when I was doing my amends with her, she said, Mommy, you don't even have to say sorry or anything. I can see you're working on yourself. It just came as I'm doing, I got more serious with my program. She knows how much service I'm doing. Like now I'm organizing a convention worldwide in Kenya. I'm sorry, in Kenya. This year it's in Kenya. It's African convention. She knows how much service I do. And of course now she's in with the service, I'm sober. She just needs to see what I'm doing. And the relationship naturally came back. The main thing is nothing, also for me what has helped me is the slogans in AA. Nothing is so bad that alcohol will make it better. If I drink over the loss, it will make it better the next day. It will make it worse. And also therapy helped me a lot just to accept that I can't change it.
Okay, thanks for all your questions.
Thank you, Karimi. That was lovely. Thank you for interacting so much as well. I appreciated that.
First I slept and then I crept to a hope-filled dream. You rescued me and finally waking there I see. I look into love's window for a soul that's meant for me. Takes me where the promises are real. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slow, we get just what we need. On a broad highway, stride for stride, we walk eternally. Look into love's window for a heart that beats for me. Takes me where the promises are real. And I always long for something that sets me free. And I run to a world in harmony. Feel all the vision that one day would appear to me. Take me where the promise